Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm glad you found me. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's great to see you. Today I want to talk about challenge rating in Dungeons & Dragons, specifically 5e, and why you actually don't need a challenge rating as a Dungeon Master. Now, what is a challenge rating? Well, a challenge rating, often abbreviated as CR, is the number that loosely indicates the relative combat difficulty of a monster in the game. The higher a monster's challenge rating, the more difficult the encounter will be. Well, that's pretty obvious. You see, challenge ratings are not 100% accurate. It's really just a guideline, and a guideline I think you should throw out. Why, Joe? Why would you throw out challenge rating?
By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief?
Well, because there are many other factors to consider. Things like party size, average party level, party class race combos or species if you're using the new 5e rules, and players' game experience, just to name a few. And using CR to balance your campaign as a DM is unrealistic. Think about it. Monsters don't hang out in dungeons based on their CRs. Yes, in original D&D, it was well known that monsters with a higher hit dice lived at the lower levels of the dungeon. This is how a DM would balance party threats in 1974. The players knew it would get harder the deeper they descended. But it's 2024, and not all adventures take place in dungeons anymore. So what should you do as a dungeon master? That's a great question. As a dungeon master of the 21st century, this is how you should handle it. Tell your players straight up at the start of your campaign to be careful, not stupid. It's really that simple. Tell them not to engage every single threat because it could be dangerous. Tell them you prefer a more realistic campaign, where they have the power to make decisions based on their wants, needs, and observations. Tell them your campaign has no safe zones, no bomb shelters, no chill-out rooms. Tell them you're not going to baby-proof your world. They'll quickly learn over time which monsters are too weak and which are too powerful, and they'll act accordingly. I mean, no character would be dumb enough to jump in a pool of molten lava because they didn't know how hot it was, right? And if they think that you did baby-proof the world, it could even be more dangerous for the party because they're expecting the new monster to fit into a certain mold. But if they've never met that monster before, how do they know what its powers are? They don't. That monster could be super dangerous. As a DM, just be honest from the start with a simple disclaimer. Approach monsters at your own risk. Let them learn from the environment and their past mistakes. So, as an example, if an ancient red dragon lives near a town and your characters are 3rd level, don't switch it to a swarm of bees. The red dragon is there for a reason, a key piece of the storyline, right? That's why you put it there. You didn't put it there for them to fight. Well, maybe you did, but maybe when they get to a higher level, not 3rd. Let your players discover why you put the red dragon there based on the storyline as they uncover it. It'll seem a lot more realistic. They'll thank you for it because it'll be a lot more fun. Not only for them, but also for you. And feel free to remind them of this. Not all enemies are defeated in battle. Enjoy the game because it's yours to enjoy. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you later. Hey, I'm glad you're still here. I forgot to tell you something. I'm having another giveaway. When I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away something. In order to enter, all you need to do is figure out what page I was on at the beginning of this video and leave a comment below either to the page number or to one of the monsters on one of those pages. That's all you need to do. If you'd rather not leave a comment and you know the answer, go ahead and email it to me at jrapoza@gmail.com. That's JRAPOZA@gmail.com, or leave a comment below. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Wait, before you go, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not saying you should ignore the experience points a monster has in its stat block. We'll use an example. So this is a Froghemoth Elder from the Quest from the Infinite Staircase, and it is a challenge rating 15. Big deal. Who cares? If you've got 8th level characters, they're probably not going to run into this thing. But look how badass it is, right? What you really want to know is how many experience points do your characters get for defeating a monster like this? That's really all you need to know. I mean, you could technically use 15 as a guideline. Obviously 15 is too high for third level characters, fifth level characters, what have you, but you also don't know how they're going to encounter this, right? It's not going to be wandering around a town. It's going to be deep in a forest, and if your characters happen to go into the forest and they see it, they'll probably see signs of it first, right? They'll see some desolation, they'll see dead animal carcasses, they'll hear it, right? They're not going to just like randomly stumble upon it and then start talking to it and then start fighting it. So just keep that in mind with your monsters. And again, I'm not saying that you should like put Demogorgon or Orcus in front of your low level characters. That would be really silly. I mean, you could do it, but they would run away because they probably know who those demons are. But anyway, this is another thing I wanted to mention. So this is not a sponsored video, but I borrowed this book from my library, and it's The Monsters Know What They're Doing. And this is actually really interesting. It's written by Keith Ammann, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I highly recommend it. Look how thick it is. It's actually really kind of a cool book. It's over like 550 pages with the index. I've only read a few of the monster tactics in here, but one of them that I read was the Kuatoa in the adventure module D1 and D2 and D3, or actually D1 and D2, Descent into the Depths of the Earth. The Kuatoa kind of act in packs. You know, they use nets to trap their enemies. It's really a cool encounter with Kuatoa because your characters don't necessarily have to defeat them, and the Kuatoa don't necessarily have to kill the characters. They might get trapped and then imprisoned, which could lead to a whole another plot device. The other one I read in here was the Displacer Beast, which I think was also very interesting. Now, I won't spoil it for you if you want to read this book, and I definitely don't want to spoil it for you if you're a player and your DM is planning to use some of these tactics in this book. But again, this is not a sponsored video. Check it out from your library if you can, or purchase a copy if you think it's great. Anyway, actually, if you're not sure, just go on Amazon and read some of the reviews. But from my perspective, this book is really well written and definitely worth it if you're a dungeon master. All right, take care. I mean, no player character would be dumb enough to jump into a pool of molten lava